Jackson never expected his peaceful Saturday to turn into the day his life changed forever. Returning home from a disastrous golf game, his stomach in knots, he stumbled upon a conversation that shattered everything he believed about his wife. Sorry, shocking discovery peering through the open patio door. Jackson saw his wife Deanna lounging by the pool with her friends, Becky, Steph, and Cheryl. He stayed out of sight, curiosity getting the best of him. "I'm sorry, Bex," Deanna confessed, her voice low but excited. "I can't stop thinking about it. Everyone talks about it, and I need to know if it's as incredible as Candace claims." Jackson's stomachache was forgotten as he listened, his heartbeat hammering in his ears. His wife, his partner of 20 years, was planning to cheat, seeking a reckless thrill with a man from the club. Becky sighed, shaking her head. "Candace filled your head with lies. I followed her advice and I lost everything. Don't make my mistake. Jackson is a great man. If you don't want him, I do." Jackson had heard enough. Rage boiling over, he slammed the patio door open. The women gasped as he marched toward Deanna, gripping her wrist and yanking off her wedding ring. "You're not my wife anymore," he growled, flinging the ring toward the street. "Go to your big tool boyfriend, I don't care, but you won't set foot in my house again." Deanna collapsed, sobbing, while the other women stood in stunned silence. Cheryl tried to calm him, but he shoved her away, right into the pool. "Pack her things," he ordered. "She's leaving tonight." A new beginning. The next week, Deanna got exactly what she wanted, her night with the other man. But reality hit hard. The excitement fizzled fast, leaving her feeling emptier than ever. Meanwhile, Jackson focused on rebuilding his life. His son deserved better than a bitter father, and Jackson refused to be consumed by anger. When Deanna returned, pleading to come back, he didn't even hesitate. "No," he said firmly. "You made your choice. Now live with it." As she broke down, in tears, Jackson felt nothing but relief. He had given her everything and she threw it away. Now he was finally free. And as for Becky, well, she had been waiting for a man like Jackson her entire life. Maybe, just maybe, Diana smirked as she twirled her glass. "Maybe I'll marry Jax. I wouldn't have to work, just keep him satisfied and enjoy the good life. Or better, yet marry him, enjoy him for a bit, then divorce him. You know I can't stay faithful." For the first time, reality hit Diana as she drowned her thoughts in alcohol. Meanwhile, Jackson stood at Bex's doorstep, a casserole dish in hand. "Thought you might need a friend tonight." They dined on the patio, their conversation drifting toward Jackson's emotions and how he had been coping since asking Diana to leave. In the backyard, Bex's kids played basketball, their laughter filling the air. Jackson exhaled deeply. "I'm sure you know the others are with her, helping her cope after being served today. But I chose to be here with you." Bex placed a comforting hand on his. "Thank you for being here for me too." The evening ended early, with Bex needing to get her children home for school the next day. Before she left, she gave Jackson a lingering, gentle kiss on the lips. He smiled as she pulled away, savoring the quiet temptation between them. Between 1:30 and 2 a.m., Jackson's phone buzzed with a drunken call from Diana. She oscillated between sobs and accusations, questioning his love for her. To Jackson, it was clear she hadn't loved him enough to stay faithful. After the third call, he silenced his phone, deciding to deal with her once she sobered up. The next morning at 11, he called her back. Diana dodged any apology for the previous night's calls and instead expressed her desire to come home. "No," Jackson said firmly. "Our marriage is done. You didn't even wait to be served before moving on. I hope it was worth it. A whole week, Diana. You couldn't even last a week." A knock at his door caught his attention. He glanced up to see Bex standing there, a paper bag in hand. "Sign the papers," he finished. "If you don't meet with Tracy tomorrow about an apartment, I'll choose one for you. I'll cover the first 2 months' rent, and that's it. I have to go. Bex just brought me lunch." By the evening, Stephanie had grown tired of Diana's complaints. "Girl, face it. Bex isn't stealing your man. You pushed him away. You wanted bigger and you got it. But what did Jackson get? He realized he could never give you what you wanted, so he let you go. And let's be real, no man wants to take back a woman who can't be faithful. 2 weeks passed, and Diana's new escapades left her empty. On Monday evening, Bert and Cheryl accompanied her to the apartment Jackson had arranged. He had furnished it with her favorite bedroom set and familiar items from their home. The place smelled of fresh paint. The fridge was stocked, and Bert, ever the gentleman, helped organize her belongings. Cheryl, keenly aware that Diana was stalling, said nothing about Bex's frequent lunches with Jackson. Friday night, Cheryl called Bex. "Hey sis, we're having a housewarming at Diana's. You should come." Bex hesitated. "I don't know. The kid's dad has been working out of town, so I haven't had much freedom." A white lie. She had visited Jackson but never stayed long. Just checked on him, nothing more. "Your boys are teens. They can manage one night." "Yeah," Bex chuckled. "But I might want my security deposit back someday. They could wreck the place." Jackson agreed to watch the boys, happy to spend time with them. They played basketball, went go-kart racing, and ended the night at the batting cages. Later, as Bex watched Jackson with her kids, a realization settled over her. She wasn't just drawn to him, she loved him. Meanwhile, at Diana's gathering, the mood turned sour. Candace, already tipsy, made crude comments about Jackson. "Diana, you need to sleep with him one last time. I'm telling you, it felt just right. Not too big, not too small, just perfect." Bex clenched her fists. "Candace, that's disgusting." Candace scoffed. "Oh, please, Bex. You think you'll win him over? He's an empty nester. He doesn't want to raise someone else's kids." Diana, fueled by alcohol and anger, turned on Bex. "Stay away from my husband." Bex had had enough. "You lost him, Diana. You threw him away. And now? I'm going after him." Slamming the door behind her, she drove to the batting cages, where Jackson and the boys were still laughing and playing. Jackson motioned for her to join, and for the first time in years, she let herself go. Laughing, swinging, missing every ball but not caring. That night she knew for sure she was in love. The next morning over breakfast, Jackson confessed, "Last night, holding you at the cages felt right. Maybe you felt it too." Bex nodded. "I did. I've had a crush on you for years, but now, I think I love you. And if you need proof that I'm serious, I got tested after you asked Diana to leave. I haven't been with anyone in over a year." Jackson admired her honesty. "Becky, I've always known you to be a good person, but I never understood why you kept going out at night even after your divorce." She looked down. "Because when you're divorced with kids, you don't get to date. But you still want to feel wanted, even if it's not forever. I wanted closeness." He squeezed her hands. "You deserve more than that. And for the record, I like curvy women. Always have." Later, when they lay together, Jackson whispered, "I don't want to be with anyone else. Do you feel the same?" Bex kissed him. "I'd love that." The next day, Jackson grilled burgers and gathered Bex's sons for a talk. "I care about your mom, and I'd like to date her, with your blessing. What do you think?" The boys exchanged glances before the eldest nodded. "Yes, sir, we'd like that." Jackson pulled them into a hug. From the kitchen, Bex wiped away tears watching her boys bond with the man she loved. Then the doorbell rang. Diana barged in, eyes wild. "Where's my husband? He was supposed to bail me out." Bex stepped in front of her. "He's not your husband anymore. You live on Richard Street now, remember?" "I know why you're here," Bex continued. "But it won't work. You pushed him away. And now? Now you're just another lonely woman looking for warmth on the weekends." Diana's face twisted, in rage, but Bex held firm. "You might find men with bigger tools, but they won't offer you anything more than that. You wanted bigger, you got it, but you lost something real in the process." Diana's shoulders slumped, the truth finally settling in. Meanwhile, outside, Jackson and the boys played basketball, unaware that inside one chapter had just closed and another had finally begun. Uth deserved a fresh start.